Hello everybody, it's Wes McLean from Wes's Warriors and TBI on Facebook, and Wes's Custom Shop as well on Facebook. One's a closed group, and the other is an open page to the public. The Custom Shop is open to the public, and Wes's Warriors and TBI is a closed group. You have to be a member in order to see. Anyways, I'm here to talk to you about gratitude. I had a brain injury, as some of you may know, from an accident with a dump truck in 2012. And it is now 2021, and I want to talk to you about gratitude. You know, gratitude helped me in the healing process a lot. It helps give us a shift, I find, and to get to that point was pretty hard. You know, I was stuck in negativity and depression, anxiety, anger, frustration, you know, and those are all normal parts of dealing with a brain injury, a trauma period, right? Whether it's, you know, any kind of trauma, you know, childhood stuff, PTSD, CPTSD, you know, ABI, TBI, it all relates. But I woke up one day and I made a conscious decision that I wanted to have a better quality of life. That I didn't want to listen to all the negative stuff I was getting from a lot of the professionals that were around me, that I would never get better. And I believed that with my use of cannabis that I was getting better, but there was problems with interactions with the big pharma drugs, which later proved to be true once I stopped taking the big pharma drugs, and here I am. I mean, all of them said that they were going to cause side effects, were symptoms I already had, and they were exaggerated, and the people that were dealing with me was like, quit exaggerating. And it's like, well, the drugs that you put me on are doing that. I'm not doing it. You know, I already had these problems. I told you that. Then you gave me these meds. Anyways, that's another story. But I'm thankful for the doctor I have now, Dr. Han, right? And he's really good for me, you know. So he will listen to what I have to say, and, you know, he'll try and figure out a course of action for us. But on gratitude, you know, once you can figure out gratitude and you get to a shift there in that, and you decide that you want to be better, you know, focus on the little things, right? Like, that's what I did. I was thankful for my neighbor, Brandon Schwartz. You know, may this work be with you, because that guy, I wouldn't be nowhere near as far as I am if I didn't have that guy in my life when and how he was. You know, he's still somewhat in my life. It's just not the same, but that's okay, because he's still a great guy, and I'm really thankful for him. But this is a piece of drywall, if you haven't noticed, and it came off of my wall over there from that time when I was dealing with the insurance company, and I was going through all that negativity and depression and anxiety and you know, anger and frustration and everything that goes around with that, right? And seeing how that it was bare drywall, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna start writing on my wall. It's gonna have to get mudded up and painted anyways eventually, so whatever. But I saved this piece because I thought it could be used for something like this later on. And I didn't have them Bondo and drywall over this piece. I had them remove this and put up a bigger piece, because the guy that did it, he put a whole bunch of little pieces instead of big sheets, making more work. But, you know, so I started writing on my wall. I wrote in pencil because I figured I was going to end up going over it, and I didn't want to do it in felt. So you might not be able to see it, but you might. And but first off, I was thankful for my neighbor Brandon, right, B. And then he said that it was 5 years since my accident when I wrote it. It says 6 because I wrote in I filled the line in, because that was about I was finished with ICBC and I started doing this and getting that shift. And, Dana, Brandon, and Craig are part of that gratitude list because they helped clean up the mess of Andy, who was a bad contractor. Just everything he did had to be redone by Dana, Brandon, Craig, and another gentleman, Ralph, and the people that he worked with, Nick, the electrician, and his apprentices. They didn't understand me as much, but they tried, and we got through it, and I'm thankful for them because my life is better because of what they did in making my home more manageable to maintain and clean, and so I can keep up my hygiene and everything like that, because it's easier to get in to have a shower and a bath, whereas before it was extremely stressful with stairs trying to get in and falling down and all kinds of problems. It was a nightmare, but it's not that way anymore. So I'm thankful for them, right? And I also have two more other individuals now that are helping me. Willow Gertz Construction and his worker Colin. They're great. I can't say enough about them because they're cleaning up more mess of other bad contractors, right? And making it so it's a lot more better for me to be able to be out in the yard with my dog, and we can have fun. And I can actually take part in some of that now because I've healed that much more with having my home the way that it is now, because I'm not fighting my home. So that takes a lot of stress away, and frustration and anxiety and depression, right? So, but I have something else that I wrote is that I was thankful for Dana, Brandon, and Craig, and Ernie, another neighbor, right? He's got medical stuff. He works in a group home, and he was really good. He'd help get me out, him and his wife and stuff like that, and take me places and take me to appointments and take me to the beach and with my dog and stuff like that, right? Because I couldn't drive, and I can drive now, but I don't have my full license yet. Although I don't have to do the GLP program, I still have to have a supervisor until I do my final road test. That's fine. I can drive. I did tonight. But I'm also thankful for Unkadu and Auntie. Unkadu and Auntie, I call that's Randy and Sarah Peterson from Maverick Trailers. I called him Unkadu because he came in after my accident, and he wasn't judging me from before my accident to how I was to how I am now. He only knows me the way I am, and he accepted me the way that I am, and the way I was, which was not very good, but him and his wife, they were really great, and their kids too, really understanding, and it was really hard when they first moved in because they're making a lot of noise, moving trailers around, using heavy equipment and stuff like that, using a skid steer. That was really difficult for me, the noise of it all. But he was do stuff, and I wanted to like the guy because I didn't like him and his wife when they moved in because of the noise they were making, but I wanted to, so I put a shift into that in calling him Unkadu and Auntie too, because they did stuff, and they did stuff that was positive and helpful. Like they would, they were an ear. I had somebody for me to talk to. I was extremely suicidal and on big pharma drugs, and I'm no longer that way on cannabis, but on big pharma drugs I was. And they were trying to take cannabis away from me, and I was so distraught over it all because I knew that I had made some gains, and I felt like I was going to go so far backwards it wasn't funny, and they weren't recognizing it. But he did, and he came over, and he gave me a hug and a hot chocolate, and I still keep the cup that he brought over, and I wrote on it because that helped remind me that he did that. I also journaled about that. But, they helped clear my snow so that care aides could get to me and things like that, right? Awesome people, very community-minded, and they're still helping with things to this day It's hard to describe how they help, but they do, and I'm so thankful for them and their family and the way they think about community. Um, Another is care aids. This pointer's not working very good, but hey, care aids, right? Care workers. I was thankful for them, my dog Dee, my cane, my walker, glasses, a roof over my head, music, red lights, family, safety gear, EMTs, and EMTs I look at as all of the services like, RCMP, police officers, ambulance attendants, care workers, firemen, all of them, right? That to me is EMTs, because they're emergency response team, and they all are that. And I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have all of them in my corner rooting for me and helping me. I had some bad experiences, but I don't focus on the bad. I'm trying to focus on the good, and that's gratitude. Another was, before this board was taken down, is no more bus stop on our road, because the bus stop used to be right outside there, just off the corner, and it was really difficult for me to deal with the bus because my building, the way it's built, it was built in the 50s. It didn't have a lot of insulation, and it's got more in it now because of the guys doing construction work and cleaning things up and improving things for me. But the sound of that bus going by, it just reverberated and resonated through my house, and I couldn't think, I couldn't focus. It was extremely difficult, right? And so now it's moved to the street over, which is a lot better for the bus driver and the people in our community and the environment, because the bus isn't getting choked up at the stop sign where he's got to make a left turn against traffic that he doesn't have right of way. So he could sit there for quite a while people are coming off of the four-way, and he's just sitting there in traffic waiting for a big enough gap for him to go. Well, now he's on a street where he's on the street with the four-way, and then right up from that is a light. So he's got a guaranteed flow, right? And it's less stressful for the bus driver. It's less idling time, waiting to go, so he can be more on time with his getting from stop to stop, so it's faster for everybody. And that's a good thing for our community, right? So, woo! Ralph, the contractor that isn't written on there because he removed this and replaced it with a larger piece of drywall. Well, he recognized things in me that others that were around me didn't get to recognize, because you get to see your doctor for, if you're lucky, 15 minutes. Maybe you get a half an hour if you got a good doctor, right? Maybe, even better, you get one that listens to you for an hour and you go over things, because I have a lot of things to go over with my health issues from that MBA. And other past traumas as well. And, so that's really good, because Ralph would come here. He had a neighbor that had a brain injury, and so he was around him for quite a number of years before encountering me. And he would come here in the morning, and he would, we would make a game plan. I was putting my breakfast together while he would have his coffee, and we'd discuss what was going to happen in the day. But as I'm trying to put a bowl of cereal together, I'm like, like non-stop trying to put a bowl of cereal together, right? It's for the average person, they can't understand that because it's such an easy task for them. But after a brain injury and neurological problems, it's not so easy. And I was struggling to do that, and he could see that, and he brought it up. And I didn't recognize it in myself, but he did. And all the other professionals that I was dealing with, they didn't either, because like I said, you don't get that time with them. But he did, and he saw it, and he brought it up, and that made me aware of it, and that awareness has helped me to be able to work on it. So that's a good thing, right? I'm thankful for that. Just having gratitude goes a long way. You just got to pick one thing to to start with, whether it be a cup of coffee, or your favorite drink, right, your favorite beverage, or a pet, or a friend, a place you like to go. Maybe it's a song, or there's so many things it could be, right? There's something out there in the world, no matter how negative and down your world is, that sheds a little bit of light on it. And look at that and concentrate and focus on that. The more you concentrate and focus on that, the more you'll be able to concentrate and focus and find other things to have gratitude for, which will only help you improve and get to a next higher level along the way, right? You know, so I wanted to share that with you, and I hope that you can find some gratitude in your life, and the more you do, the more you'll be able to share it and spread that joy with others in your life. Because after trauma and brain injury, it's not only hard on you, but it's hard on everybody that you ever encountered with, you know, especially if they were in your life on a daily, regular basis, you know, because you're not interacting with them the same way that you used to. And that's hard for them, just as equally as hard as it is for the person. I know a lot of people with brain injury and neurological problems have a hard time understanding that how can it be hard on them because I'm the one with the problem, but they're not getting to interact with you the way they used to, and they miss it. So it is hard on them, right? And they don't know how to help you, because they really can't help you. They can give you some suggestions and ideas, you know, once you're past and out of the acute stage. You know, that's like Western medicine. Western medicine is exactly where you want to be if you've got a broken bone or you're bleeding out or whatever, right? Because they can help deal with that and calm that stuff down and get you to a better place. But it's ultimately, healing is up to you. How well you heal is up to you. And that's hard to see when you're in that negative state. But when you can get to that by searching out some of these things, and I'm not saying you gotta write on your wall like I did, you know, because you might not want to do that, but maybe you get a whiteboard, right? A chalkboard or something, and you write it on that, or you have a mirror and a lot of post-it notes, and you stick those post-it notes all over that mirror, and so every morning when you go into the bathroom or before you go to bed, it's right there and you're looking at that, right? That helps. Read it, take it in, and every time I went into my bedroom I looked at that because it was right beside the door, and that helped me shift and add more things, because I'd sit there and I'd read it and then I'd be like, oh yeah, I could add this, and then you know, more time would go by and I'd be doing the same thing, reading it every time I go into my bedroom, and then, oh, I could add this, and that just expanded and expanded and expanded, right? And so it gives you something to build on. I started out with that I was thankful for. I was thankful for Dana and Craig, Brandon and Ernie, Unkadu and Auntie. That's what I started with. And then care workers and my dog, and then, you know, I just kept building on it. So if you find yourself not having gratitude, really depressed and anxiety and frustrated and angry with the world and your situation, search that out. Look for gratitude. It'll help give you that shift. Thank you for listening. I appreciate that we can do these, and I hope to do more. So thanks again. Wes McLean from Wes's Warriors and TBI on Facebook. You have a great day.